You can just introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Ruby. So I'm studying in TAR College Sports Science.
So do you think that the awareness in Malaysia for this issue is okay, or like
No,
do
it's
people
very low.
understand this?
The awareness is very low in this country.
We really need more people to be aware of our history. Most of the time, they think that our children are foreigners. The stigmatization of Malaysia is if you are bukan warga negara, that means you are a foreigner. Whereas my son is not a foreigner, he's born here. He's born to a Malaysian father.
I think you all understand. Imagine yourself don't have IC, how it feel like.
Yeah.
Cannot open a bank account, cannot work anywhere, cannot take loan, cannot have any life, no life at all. You are not you are not even belong to anywhere.
Yeah, one of my son is stateless. The older one is stateless due to late marriage. I couldn't get the marriage certificate earlier due to some complication.
Stateless, they have a lot of category sometimes. So some they don't have the birth cert.
No birth certificate also we have. Some children abandoned by parents. Some children was taken from kebajikan.
Yeah, they have a lot of different kind of situation. My stateless is because I'm adopted. And for my situation, they actually say that I can get my citizenship very easily by getting back my biological parents. But it's very funny because why am I adopted? Because my biological parents they don't want me or they left me, so impossible for us to search. I mean, they don't want me at first, and then how do I go back and then search for them, because we already lost contact. Even my adoptive parents don't know who are they, because some of the company they actually don't accept this kind of situation. Some of the company, yeah, but just luckily the company that I'm having now, I mean, they hired me, but also terms and conditions apply. So the salary actually will be a bit lower because I don't have an EPF and I don't have SOCSO.
When I wanted to enroll him to the local schools here, they say that I need to have a passport because he is bukan warga negara. During that time, we went to a school for refugee students.
I heard that stateless people cannot get medical help from the government, and then they can't buy insurance.
They can actually. Insurance, there are selected insurance agencies that will accept them. For government one, they can go to a government hospital, but they'll be charged the same rate as foreigners.
Which is more expensive also.
Oh, very expensive. I mean, compared with private hospital, of course, they are much cheaper.
Yeah.
When we pay our Malaysian rate, it's only less than $100. But if you are foreigner one, they will just charge you on everything they use. Every procedure they do, they're going to charge you.
So that day I'm working in the gym, so I'm training my client. So there's one unknown uncle. This uncle, he come over and touch me when I'm training my client. So after that, so I'm very afraid of this. So I want to make a police report. When I do the police report, I'm very afraid because I don't have IC. First, I might think that when I go to the police report, I might get up as well because I have no identification. So then talk with one lawyer, and then she bring me over to the Tenaga Nita, if I'm not wrong. Tenaga Nita is an organization who help those stateless person or they don't have any identity in this country to fight for their rights, something like this. And then they accompany to the police station and then do the police report. So this is some of the very big obstacles in our life when we want to do something very important.
Last year in July, if I'm not mistaken, go and see Muhyiddin. 150 of us together with the stateless children. Some of stateless children are there. So we did talk to Muhyiddin about this. Okay, so we did told him about this rejected, but no excuse, didn't give any reason. So he say he will work on it, but until now nothing.
The first person that she spoke about, and then I'm the fourth person to stand out and then to speak about this situation or something like this. So after the dialogue, the first lady who speak out, she suddenly get her citizenship with nothing, like she just suddenly get it. So after the dialogue, the assistant just come over to talk to this first lady who's speaking. She say, you go to the counter, you just pay 100 ringgit for the registration, and then you can get it. Like, what the hell? Out of
Only
sudden,
her?
we are waiting for so many. Yeah, we have waiting for so many years, and then you can just grant the citizenship with like this, or you can just not grant the citizenship with no valid reason. Yes, and then all of
They
us
didn't
like,
even choose or anything. They just give the first lady.
they just give whatever they want, and then they just don't want to give, but it's so unfair. I mean, I don't care you giving the citizenship to anyone, but what are you giving it so without any reason? Why you need us to wait for this for so long? And then when every time I go to follow up to Putrajaya every month, the same thing they say, oh, it's in process. Then I say, why is in process? It's in process, oh? It's waiting, oh? Or you just need to wait. They can just give whatever they feel like they want to. Oh, this person they shoot for having citizenship. Oh, then I give this one. Then I think this people then don't give. Let them pending for so many years.
How many years have you been waiting?
6 years.
And this is still processing.
Yes. The letter they have mentioned one. Your permohonan is still dalam the process without any valid reason, just dalam the process. So they just give suka hati oh.
There's one 27 years old, living here all their life. Biological parents are Bangladesh, but then taken in by a Malaysian family. They are married, and then they have other siblings and kind of thing. Well, till now also still nothing. 27 years old already. Not even my caste.
And there's a case in Sarawak. She is adopted. Father and mother is a Malaysian. And the same country, same state there's another girl also adopted. Father and mother is a Malaysian. And that girl got my card from one of the minister. I don't want to tell the name of the minister lah. And this girl get green card. Okay, green card is can last for 10 years only. You cannot use take a driving license, open a bank account, no, nothing, no PTPT, nothing.
Well, what NGOs are there that are protecting these stateless people?
Like the Naganita, Women Aid Organization. The argument here is KDN, Kementerian Dalam Negeri, they will ask the stateless children to prove whether your parents are still existing or not. They will tell you to prove whether your biological parents do not want you anymore.
But that's very hard to prove. Some of them left are not contact.
Yeah, there's the headache here.
Problem is, to get a my card, we will get promised in 2 years' time. So after 2 years, become 5 years. Now already 6 years.
When we had our KDN event with Muhyiddin last time, 3 of the children got citizenship. In year 2019, they went over to KDN a few times. They were told that it's still sedang diproses. But when we received the approval letter, it was approved in August 2018. They continue going and see them. Then they say that it's still under process. But then it was approved a year ago. You can call them, we can go and visit them. But the same scenario will happen now. SOP. Once it's approved, they should send it out straight to us, right?
Yeah.
But they just want to hold back for whatever reason. If they like your hairstyle today, they give it to you. They don't like your hairstyle, they don't give it to you. That kind of thing. There is no clear SOP to look out for one another. All those children in orphanage, they get legally adopted, but they still don't get their citizenship. The other agency, they have no power over KDN at all. You talk too much, you go and join NGO, they will blacklist you. You go to court, they might blacklist you. Kind of things lah, no? KDN is so powerful. You cannot question them. The numbers are still the same, 26,000. And the approval rate is only about 3,000 old people. Those report by KDN is never true one. There are about 3.2 million bukan warga negara in Malaysia.
For past 60 years, they only follow 15A. They won't give other forms. 15A means only the KDN minister has the power to give IC, approve for the IC. And he also has the power to provoke it back. Thousands of forms will be on top his table. So one person is doing the signature and allowing. So what happened was when we go to the counter downstairs, they won't say all these things. They will say in the process.
Yeah.
They won't say, they won't give the timeline. When we go to KDN, they ask us, after 2 years, they will say in a process. So the inner process will go around another 5 years. So like me, I already waited for another 4 years. So I don't understand why must be 4, 5 years or 6 years for process of a document. They will check, right? They will check and see, okay, all okay, they submit it. But I don't understand, after submitted, okay, all okay, then suddenly rejected. And no reason was given. So when you reapply, if once the children is above 18 years old, cannot apply already. Because this 15A is like that. So I think if you do research, I think we have at least millions of stateless children. And one human being is the one approving for each one of them. Millions of them for one person. I think it's ridiculous. Because right now it's done by a human being. Human being is the one who agreeing. He can say today he can, tomorrow he can say no. So this is ongoing for 60 years. There's supposed to be a constitution on this. If you allow a human being do the decision, they make mistakes. We did send a memorandum. The memorandum already put all the constitutions, everything. This another article said it's called naturalization. When the person is already in Malaysia, after Merdeka, if I'm not mistaken, they will naturally will be given IC, even without approval from the KDN minister. They have another article. Either father or mother is a Malaysian, the child supposed to have a Malaysian, supposed to be a Malaysian. The child have the right to choose whether she want to follow the father or follow the mother. If you follow the father, the both of parents are staying together. The child have the right to choose to become Malaysians. And this one must be approved by JPN, not KDN. They have 222 seats. We need at least 1/3 of the seat, 2/3 of the seat to support us to bring these constitutions, so they can amend this law. Imagine the politicians are changing every time. This is the life of a human being, and they are putting it all in the politics. Stateless family support group, SFSG.
What do you guys mainly do?
Okay, mainly we are doing is we gathering all the stateless children in one group. So we get their name. They will look for us and they join our group, and then they will let us know what is their problem. It's best we have a group. This group we created for them to get more information to each other. So we were finding more and more these children who don't have stateless children who don't have IC to join our group. So we have a big crowd, big groups lah. Force government to give us the my card. If we are rights, we have rights lah.
Yeah.
Our rights lah. This group only for the family who don't have who are stateless children only. Lawyers, anyone also not allowed. Nobody helping us. So that's why we bring this group along.
Hey guys, my name is Jerry, and after interviewing and listening to some of the experience of being stateless, I think the first thing that came to my mind was appreciation. Sometimes in life we tend to overlook really simple things that we can easily get, like driving a car, traveling, or just even go to the hospital. I couldn't imagine living how the stateless are living, and prayers to all the stateless out there, keep on fighting the rights, because everyone deserves to have a chance to even live in the beautiful country that we are living in. The biggest issue I saw is the efficiency of the government, how stateless people were never really treated seriously by them, and it's really easy to spot, like they don't even give the effort. And the government can definitely do better by enforcing new laws and clear-cut SOPs to follow, so the application process should be transparent to everyone. Important question to ask includes what are the criteria in order to get their identity. What should they do if they don't meet the criteria but they don't know where they came from. How and when will the application be approved? And finally, the last thing I want to say is, being born this way, being stateless, was never their choice. If we can all pull ourselves into their shoes and just feel what they felt, then we should be able to understand them better and help them better.
After having an interview with the stateless people, I feel a sense of unfairness where we are all born and raised in this country. It's just that they are holding the status stateless, while we all who have IC and passports have the status as citizenship. This shows that IC and passport is really important to us, as these stateless people do not have the IC and passport, where it is quite essential to prove that you are a citizen of this country and you are able to get certain benefits in this country, like cheaper medical fee when you go to public hospitals, can get a job, also get employed legally. You would also be able to travel overseas with a passport, and you can also get like loans to study higher education, open bank accounts as well to put your money there. But for these people, they are unable to do all these things, which is quite sad. Most of them already have tried doing the application procedure since very young, in hopes to get a citizenship back within reply within 2 or 3 years. But the sad thing is, some of them would have to wait for more than 5 years or maybe 8 years just to get a letter that says it's rejected without an explanation. So they don't even know what's wrong with the procedure they have done. And especially when most of them are going to reach adulthood, it's going to be even harder for them to get citizenship. The fact that in a newspaper where a mere footballer from a foreign country is able to get a citizenship much more earlier than these people, who has been applying almost every year, many times, is that he needs for foreigners to get a citizenship under Section 19, is that they need to stay in a country for at least 10 or 12 years. But then this guy didn't even stay that long, as compared to these stateless people who have been staying in this country for much more longer than he is, and they are also much more fluent in VM. The sad thing is, they are waiting and waiting and waiting, but the country hasn't really given them citizenship, and this really doesn't give them much accessibility to do a lot of things, which would be beneficial for not only themselves but for the country as well. So it is really sad to see that there are stateless people in this country who are working hard to try to be a Malaysian, but they still don't get to become really part of the country.
In my opinion, many stateless individuals are deprived of basic necessities that help us get through life today. For example, opening a bank account, getting their driver's license, and also obtaining public access to education and healthcare for free. This is because they do not have the required documents to support and identify their identity. When they are unable to get these basic necessities, it's very hard for them to feel the same, and also they have to go through a lot of challenges like discrimination and inconvenience. It's also a very challenging task to get back their citizenship, as they have to go through a timeless process of pending approval without any notification or updates due to political and legal reasons. There is also no standard and operating procedures when dealing with this issue. Dealing with this issue alone can be very difficult. as there are many stateless Malaysians and individuals coming together, building support groups to help raise awareness and help tackle newer cases of this issue. I hope that the government one day would take this matter more seriously and deal with this problem.
Hi, I am Hui Hong. The feedback after listening to the interview, that is, I feel like Stateless was pity because they do not have rights to get into school, buying insurance and other services. Besides, because they do not have identity certificate, so they are not allowed to access education and healthcare from the government.
Stateless youth is about people who are Malaysian born, but due to some special circumstances, they don't have their citizenship. So without this citizenship, they are unable to do a lot of things, such as opening a bank account, getting their passport, getting their driving license, and many more. I've learned that this issue is not widely known in the society, as I walk around asking people to fill in survey form on their knowledge on stateless youth, and many don't know the meaning of it. So I find that we should help to gain more awareness on this issue and maybe help them to get their citizenship faster. So stateless youth can't create bank account. So if they want to create a bank account, they would use their family member's name to create a bank account. However, this leads to another problem, which is finding job difficulties, as many companies doesn't hire people without a citizenship background. So if they do hire them, they will pay them at a lower salary price. So I find that we should help stateless youth to gain more awareness on this issue. Thank you.
Guys, I'm Cindy. I felt sad and pity for the stateless youth as because they are restricted to do a lot of stuff because they don't have their identical card. Like when they are sick, they want to go for government hospital because it's cheaper, but the government hospital need their IC so that they can pay for a cheaper price. If not, they will have to pay for 200 first. Next, it will be inconvenient for them because they cannot go for a higher education and they cannot have license, driving license and so on. When they want to apply for citizenship, the government sector shouldn't keep dragging and tell them it is still processing. To help them, we should increase the awareness and also help them if they need any help so that they won't feel so helpless. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone, Irene here. So in the past few weeks, I've gained a lot about these stateless kids, especially during interview and setting booth in Sunway. I remember there's one lecturer came to us and asked, what can we actually help other than gaining awareness? Honestly, I don't know how to answer her question at that moment, but I just replied, gain awareness as we have forgotten there are stateless people out there who are fighting for their identity card and rights, end up no results and they feel so helpless. Well, for us, doing our own ID card seems to be easy and maybe not a matter for us. So we should be more appreciate and grateful that we are owing one. She seems like doesn't satisfy with my answer, but there are a lot of NGOs and professionals out there who are fighting for the stateless rights, but still ended up no results. So I think the only thing that we can help is to gain more awareness for them and help them to get more attention from the government to improve their situations.